My name is Daniel Carter. I am 42 years old, and for almost 8 years I worked at a company called Westbridge Industrial Supply. My job was simple in theory but complicated in reality. I managed client relationships across several states in the Southwest. These were not small clients. The contracts I handled were worth hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Factories depended on our shipments. If we failed to deliver, production lines could stop within hours. That meant I spent many nights answering emergency calls, solving supply problems, and negotiating contracts. Over time, the clients stopped calling the company first. They called me. One morning I received a calendar invitation for an executive meeting. The title of the meeting was simple: Regional Director Promotion Discussion. Many people in the office believed the promotion would go to me. I had the experience, the numbers, and the relationships. The meeting took place on the top floor conference room. The CEO, Mark Henderson, sat at the head of the table. Next to him was Lisa from HR. Mark cleared his throat and looked at a folder in front of him. "Daniel," he said, "the company has been reviewing candidates for the regional director role." Lisa nodded and added, "Your division produced the highest revenue in the company last year." I waited quietly. Then the door suddenly opened. A young man walked inside with a confident smile. He looked familiar. It was Ryan Henderson, Mark's son. Ryan had joined the company only 6 months earlier. Mark looked slightly uncomfortable, but he continued speaking. "The board believes we need fresh leadership perspectives," he said. Then he looked at Ryan. "The new regional director will be my son." The room went silent. For a moment, I thought someone might object. But no one said anything. Lisa looked down at her notebook. Ryan smiled like the decision had always been obvious. At that moment I realized something important. This meeting had ended. For the next few weeks, I continued working like nothing had happened. I answered emails, handled shipments, and solved client problems just like before. But inside, something had changed. 2 weeks later, I received a phone call from an unknown number. "Hello, Daniel. This is Michael Torres from Apex Logistics." I recognized the company name immediately. Apex was one of the fastest growing supply chain companies in the region. Michael continued speaking. "We heard about the situation at Westbridge," he said. "News travels fast in the business world. We're expanding operations," he continued. "And we're looking for someone who understands this market." I stayed silent. Then he said the words that changed everything. "We want you to become Director of Operations." The offer included a better salary, a larger team, and full control of strategy. I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I asked one question. "Why me?" Michael laughed slightly. "Because your clients trust you," he said. That answer told me everything. A week later, I made my decision. I printed a resignation letter and walked into Mark's office. When he opened the envelope, his face changed instantly. "You're leaving?" he asked. "Yes," I replied. "You're one of our most important managers," he said. "I know," I answered calmly. For the first time, Mark looked nervous. "Who's going to manage these accounts?" he asked. "That depends on your new director," I said. I gave them the required 30-day notice and left the office. After I joined Apex Logistics, life became surprisingly peaceful. I had a new team and a new office. But something interesting started happening. Old clients began calling me. Not because I asked them to, but because they trusted the way I handled their operations. One day my new boss walked into my office holding a report. "You might want to see this," he said. The report showed something shocking. Westbridge had lost several major contracts. Within 4 months, the company had lost more than $400 million in business. Many of the clients had quietly moved their operations elsewhere. Not because the company had bad systems, but because the relationships were gone. One afternoon, my phone rang again. The caller ID showed a familiar name. Mark Henderson. I answered the call. "Daniel," he said carefully, "we need to talk." His voice sounded very different from the confident CEO I remembered. "Our clients are leaving," he admitted. There was a long silence. Then he asked the question I never expected to hear. "Would you consider coming back?" I leaned back in my chair and looked out the window at the distribution yard below. Freight trucks moved slowly across the loading docks. Business continued. But my life had already moved forward. "I appreciate the offer," I said politely. "But I'm happy where I am." Mark sighed quietly. Before hanging up, he said something that stayed with me. "We made a mistake." Maybe they did. But some decisions cannot be undone. Because in business, titles can be given in seconds. But trust takes years to build. And once people lose their trust, they rarely get it back.